For the Pistons, Jackson and Caldwell Pope, the guards. Ilyasova out there with Andre Drummond, and it's Morris in at the small forward position. Out of bounds, Detroit takes possession. Well, the city of Philadelphia has had some tough fans. There's no doubt. You know, we've seen them boo Santa Claus. You can imagine, Greg, how they felt about this Sixers team a year ago.
You know, the Sixers were going to be in trouble from the very start of the year. A lot of fans didn't even bother to show up to boo. I mean, Philly had the worst attendance in the league last season.
But they've got hope, Greg.
A lot of young talent. Maybe this is the year it starts to materialize.
Well, when you look at the 76ers, it's no surprise that they have empty seats. I mean, they ended up 12-29 at home, which wasn't the worst mark in the NBA, but it was tied for second worst.
And Philadelphia just at times hard to watch, even at home. I mean, they had the worst home field goal percentage in the entire league. Hard to get the crowd into it if you are clanking it on the rim every trip down.
Andre Drummond is a big guy. At the NBA Draft Combine, he measured 7 feet tall with a 7'7" wingspan, and he tipped the scales at 280 pounds. That's a super heavyweight, my friends.
Yeah, really good defensive play to cut him off there and square up.
Excellent example of toughness and physicality on defense. Got his nose right in the middle of things and made a play.
Here's Caldwell Pope. He had 13 points in the win against Memphis. There's a screen. Shot clock at 5. Lets it go from deep. And it's Noel with the rebound. And on the topic of Andre Drummond, Greg, there are a few guys in the league who combine his kind of size with the type of athleticism he possesses. Fast up and down the floor, quick off his feet. Even sports a little hang time. I mean, the guy's got a full package athletically.
You talked about the raw physical tools, and you factor in the two things as a big that I really value: great hands and quick feet, and he's got that going for him. So you can't go through him, you can't go around him, and you certainly can't go over him. I mean, what's left?
We can only hope to contain him, as they say.
Took a little time, but they get one to go. Maybe they're warmed up now.
Now about 2 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Noel sets a screen for Roten to the inside and stolen by Ilyasova. Here's Morris. He kicks to Ilyasova. Dishes to Jackson. Lays it in without an inch of room around him.
And that's the kind of move that will always pay off, even against tight defense like he was facing on that possession.
And a little over 2.5 minutes gone here in the first. Here's Covington, covered by Morris. Shot from the wing. It's deflected. Jackson drives in. Here's Drummond. And that one is good with the extra effort on the glass.
Just a grinder. Always doing the dirty work on the offensive glass. And that's one of the things he brings to the table.
And Philadelphia decides to take their first timeout right here. First chance of the season for them to go up against this Pistons team.
And they won the season series against this club last year. But, you know, then again, so did a lot of other teams.
Hey, Greg, we got to be honest here, which is really the only way I roll. Neither of these teams are world beaters. I mean, but you've got to start somewhere. A win tonight would be a step in the right direction.
Now here's Okafor. Looking to end the drought. It's Drummond with the rebound.
Well, I think he had all the space he needed. He just couldn't find the bottom of the net.
Jackson passes to Caldwell Pope. The dish now to Ilyasova. And stolen by Roten. And now the 76ers on the break. Covington with the bucket.
It took them a while, but finally they take the lid off.
You know, sometimes all it takes is one to get a team going. We'll see if that's the case here. Well, we know prior to last season, the Pistons handed the car keys over to Stan Van Gundy. He had some early hiccups, but overall, I think they're headed in the right direction. He's a proven winning coach in the NBA.
The 76ers trail by 7. Now let's send it down to Doris Burke, who was able to talk with Stan Van Gundy.
Kevin, he said they simply cannot afford to be loose with the basketball today because the steals will pile up if you don't play heads up at all times against a team that has such great hands and terrific defensive awareness. You guys know they'll turn that the other direction awfully quickly. Kevin?
Terrific, Doris. Thanks. They put a lot of thought into how they're going to match up against the opposing defense, guys.
And so they should, because that's what it's going to take. This is such a tough D to break down. They're going to have to play a smart game offensively.
Well, there's no denying that. I mean, you're not going to get by on skill alone. I mean, you've got to have the strategy and the skill working together.
And the second free throw, good.
And guys, you know, Cantavius Caldwell-Pope, this guy screams potential at you. I mean, perfect size and length and speed for a two-guard. He plays both ends. Right now, it's all about consistency for him.
For 3, Covington. And the 76ers get it back. Iverson with the bucket.
The tenacity on the interior, just battling, bringing that effort and will for second chance points.
Outside Jackson. Pass to Drummond. Out of bounds. Philadelphia takes possession. On the topic of Caldwell-Pope, he's the kind of guy who needs a year to feel his way around. In college, Greg, you may recall he showed dramatic improvement between years 1 and 2. The same thing has been true in the pros.
Yeah, and he has everything going for him. I mean, excellent outside shot, tremendous defensive tools. He just needs to add some strength and stay in attack mode to reach the next level in his development.
And here we go, the Pistons fast break. And there's Morris. That's good on the assist by Caldwell-Pope.
Every time they get scored on during this run, it's come from inside the paint.
Yeah, they have really owned the interior. You've got to collapse that defense and force them to beat you over the top.
The 76ers trail by 8. Boozer a screen on Jackson. To the middle, and there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. Andre Drummond picks one up.
And Detroit with a 32-50 record last season. They didn't have any help from the schedule. They had a total of 22 back-to-back series on the year, tied for most in the league.
Greg, you just said the Pistons had a ton of back-to-back games. 44 were part of their back-to-backs, over half their schedule. Clark, they went 15-29 in those games.
And that's part of the reason why the NBA wanted to examine the schedule. I mean, it was a tough year for the Pistons. It's hard to get any momentum when you're playing that many back-to-backs.
Now here's Jackson. And they get some nice contributions from him on a nightly basis as he averages over 11 points a game. Here's Drummond, and foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. And guys, what do you think about the offensive approach so far that we've seen for Detroit?
They've been making some really nice passes out there. Excellent passing. That could set the tone for the rest of the game.
And also defensively, they've been able to cause some turnovers tonight, and that also builds confidence and gives you momentum.
Catching up on the changes for Philadelphia. Landry comes in for Okafor, and it's Jeremy Grant in for Allen Iverson. Pass to Grant, takes the 3. Off to a good start as he hits his first shot attempt.
They really can't allow him too many open looks like that. I mean, that's just inviting trouble.
Outside Jackson, down low, stolen by Boozer. Now the 76ers on the break. Oh!
Just a great job of attacking on the break.
Yeah, you know, exploding to the basket like that, Greg, just as soon as that ball was going the other way, that's exactly how you want to do it.
That was a nice replay brought to you by Kia. Here's Drummond after the Sixers pick up 2. He feeds it to Jackson. Here's Caldwell-Pope. That's good, and it's Jackson with the assist that time.
Most any NBA player can make you pay when you leave them that wide open. That's why you have to stay alert on defense.
Grant outside. Landry with the screen. Off the pick. No luck. Now the Pistons take it the other way. Want to keep rolling here following the win against Memphis.
And it goes back to what's been their strength, really, on the interior. From a defensive standpoint, they just defended the rim as well as you could.
Yeah, I thought it was really impressive the way they did it, guys. They were alert, they were active, they were aware, and their reaction to shots was outstanding.
He used that pick to get in close. Now it's a 6-point Piston lead.
The screenplay worked ideally there, and I'm not talking about the screenplay you see in a movie theater. Gave him more than enough room to get that shot off.
So it's Philadelphia now. Over to the left wing. Takes a big high bounce and goes in. Landry's got his first bucket in this one.
I like the way they're working the ball inside, because when you do that, you get higher percentage shots, and typically good things happen.
Here's Caldwell Pope. He's covered by Thompson. That shot by Caldwell Pope, no good.
Rebounding is going to be the focal point for them in this one, fellas. I can feel it.
It always is, and it has been so far, and they've gotten a nice edge on the glass.
So it's Philadelphia now. They trail by 6. Outside Boozer. Shoots it. And the 76ers tack on 2 more. And there's a minute 45 left in the first quarter of the game. And the Pistons decide to take their first timeout right here.
And guys, this 76ers team still trying to forge an identity. One thing that is sure, they will attack the basket, and a lot of fearless players on this roster.
Here's what Detroit's going with right now. Aaron Baines, he's checked in for Drummond. Spencer Dinwiddie comes in for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And Steve Blake is subbed in for Reggie Jackson.
Quick hands on the steal, and then just mad hops on the slam.
Great sequence for them defensively and Clark offensively.
Well, one usually leads to the other, Kevin. That's just good, aggressive, attacking basketball at both ends.
And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. Well, the 76ers do go at the basket without hesitation. They're fearless, Clark, going inside. Led the NBA last season on points off drive.
Well, you know, I like to say you've got to use what you have. They didn't have many shooters, so that means head down, get to the rim.
Well, last season, the Pistons didn't reach the playoffs for the 6th consecutive season. They're making progress, but as we can all see, still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you know, they were spoiled for a while there. How about going to the playoffs for 1996 to 2009? So it's been a rough stretch here of late, but you get the feeling that the building blocks are in place for another push. It's like everybody is in a rhythm right now. Incredible stuff here early on.
Both teams playing downhill. You know, coaches say that all the time. You want to play downhill. Well, at some point you think somebody's got to cool off in this one, right? And I bet most people forget that the Pistons did make the playoffs for 8 straight years before this current drought. It's been a long rebuild process for them recently, but I think they're making progress and moving in the right direction.
Now here's Johnson. He picked up 12 points in their last win against Memphis.
And how about the job he did rebounding as well, guys? I mean, just a dominant performance on the glass. And that's just carelessness there. I mean, you have got to have your head in the game.
Detroit's gone 1 of 2 from long range in the first quarter.
And for the Pistons, they seem to have a direction and plan now that just wasn't the case before. It won't be easy to get back into the postseason, but I really feel like they are on the right path.
Now here's Johnson. Taking a look at the scoring numbers. Right now he averages about 9 points a game. Clock at 2. That's tipped. And Marshall kicks to Thompson. Fires it up. And unable there to get the go-ahead bucket. For Detroit, they've gone 50% from the field in the first quarter, 8 of 16. Now Blake, pass to Baines. And that one hits back iron. At the end of one, a closely contested game so far. Pistons ahead, up 1. And we'll be back with you for the start of the second quarter when we return.
realest. Pissed.